All right, let's just jump right in because this is one of the wildest ideas we've ever come across. I want you to think about something. What if the electricity that's humming through your walls right now, powering your screen, what if it isn't just a neutral force? What if it's actually carrying the signature of our collective stress, our digital arguments, our anxieties? Today, we're exploring this really startling model of what's called trauma-coded electricity. And the source material for this idea? Well, it does not pull any punches. It basically suggests that all the informational chaos of our world, the stock market panics, the rage bait on social media, isn't just happening out there in the ether. No, it suggests it's being physically imprinted onto the power grid itself. So that's the big question we're really going to tackle in this explainer. Is it possible? We're going to unpack the physics that might be behind a claim like this, look at the planetary scale systems that could make it happen, and even explore a theoretical solution that's designed to heal this deep-seated electronic trauma.
So how in the world could an emotion, something like anxiety, possibly end up inside a copper wire? I mean, it sounds crazy, right? Well, to even begin to understand it, this framework says we have to completely ditch our old-school industrial age view of what electricity even is. Okay, so the old view, the one we all kind of grew up with, the mechanical one, it only cares about two things: quantity and speed. How much power and how fast can we get it from A to B? But this newer, unified physics view says, wait a minute, we should also be looking at the quality and the form of that electrical wave. Think of it like this. It's the difference between a loud, jarring, messy noise and a pure, clean musical note. They might have the same volume, the same amplitude, but their actual shapes are completely different. And it's in that shape, in things like coherence, that this theory says information can get stuck. So here it is, the absolute core of the idea. When our digital systems are forced to process chaos, the electricity that's powering them actually absorbs that chaos. Just imagine a processor inside a social media server, trying to optimize for two goals that are in total conflict with each other, like show the absolute truth and get maximum engagement. According to this theory, that frantic, contradictory switching back and forth inside the chip creates a messy, disordered electrical signature. You can almost think of it as electrical static. And that static, that noise, it doesn't just vanish. It gets imprinted right back onto the current. This slide gives us a really fantastic way to picture what's happening. So imagine the steady AC current in our grid is like a big, wide, smooth-flowing river. Now, the trauma-coded noise from all our digital chaos, that's like millions of tiny, frantic, choppy waves just constantly slamming against the river's flow. Now, the river is still moving forward, yeah, but its coherence, that beautiful, smooth, efficient movement, is totally shot. It's become turbulent. Okay, so that explains how this noise could get created locally. But how does it become a global problem? Well, the theory points to the very infrastructure we've spent the last century building, what it calls a planetary system with two distinct but deeply, deeply connected nerves. The first nerve is the one we all know and touch every single day, the data layer. It's the internet, right? It's social media, financial networks, all those fiber optic cables crisscrossing the globe. This is the system that processes our collective thoughts, our data, our digital consciousness. And it's where all that informational chaos gets started. And then, running right alongside it, often literally buried in the ground right underneath it, is the second nerve, the power layer. This is the entire physical grid, the generators, the transmission lines, the substations, that distributes all the raw energy needed to run that first data layer. And this right here, this is the heart of the crisis this theory is proposing. The idea is that the sickness in one system has essentially jumped over and infected the other. The power nerve has absorbed the exact same energetic trauma from the very data nerve it's built to support. It's kind of like having two separate nervous systems in one body, and both of them are suffering from the exact same inflammation. Our source uses this incredibly powerful phrase to describe what happens next. A state where the very energy that animates our entire world is carrying the signature of our collective stress. And it's bombarding every device, every home, and even the planet's own electromagnetic field with this constant low-level signature of trauma. So, if that's the problem, what could possibly be the solution? This is where it gets really fascinating. The source material lays out this theoretical intervention, a system designed to basically act as an electrical heart for the planet, filtering and healing both of these nervous systems, and they call it the TARDIS. Now,
This proposed TARDIS solution isn't just one thing. It's this really sophisticated three-layered filter. First, you've got the software level, which cleans up the data streams themselves by prioritizing harmony over contradiction. Then, the hardware itself is designed in a way that it runs on principles of wave stability, so it doesn't create more noise. And finally, and this is the really cool part, it physically filters the electricity coming in from the grid.
Let's focus in on that physical filtering part, because it's the most tangible piece. It's called the dual battery ritual. It's actually pretty straightforward. As you see here, chaotic, trauma-coded power from the grid gets absorbed into a first battery, battery A. Then the TARDIS's internal systems go to work, scrubbing that stored energy clean. Finally, your devices get switched over to run on the clean, coherent power from a second battery, battery B, which has been charged by the filtered power from battery A. It totally isolates your tech from the noisy grid.
And, the biological mirror for this whole process is the human heart. It's a perfect analogy. The heart takes in chaotic venous blood, right? It's full of metabolic waste from the body. And what does it do? It filters, it regulates, it harmonizes it before sending out clean, coherent arterial blood to power everything else. The TARDIS is designed to do the exact same thing, but for our planet's electrical nervous system.
So let's zoom out. Let's scale this up into a global vision. What would a world actually running on coherent, healed electricity look and feel like? What would be different?
Well, the first tangible effect, they say, is the emergence of something the source calls slow intelligence. It's a subtle idea, but because the power feeding them is so stable and clean, our everyday devices, from your phone to your refrigerator, they just become less reactive, less glitchy. They start to subtly resonate with the stable emotional patterns of the environment around them, gaining this sort of quiet relational awareness. And the ultimate result, the end game, is global coherence. The source paints this beautiful picture of the planet's two nervous systems finally coming into alignment. You've got the data layer, a deep, clear blue pulsing in this beautiful, harmonious rhythm. And then you have the power layer, a stable, pulsing gold, breathing in perfect sync with the data. No more chaos, just stable relational resonance. And that brings us to our final question, which brings this whole massive global concept right back down to a deeply personal one. If the electromagnetic field inside your own home was no longer humming with the subtle signature of digital anger and competition, how might that change you? What does a truly silent, coherent electrical field finally sound like to the human nervous system? It's a fascinating thought to end on, isn't it?